Hi, you're on my phone. That's why everything's so weird. I'm hoping this works out. It's a new phone, so hopefully it'll look okay. My husband had to borrow my video camera for the weekend, and I realized that I had not filmed a July wrap up. So you get this angle because the phone is sitting on the laptop. But this means you can look at my bookcase behind me. So that's fun. This might be my last wrap up. Honestly, they're not that popular and they're kind of a pain to do because everything else I film in batches pretty much, except for some spur of the moment videos, and this one I can't film in advance, so I have to find the time for it. There's a chipmunk outside the window and he is pissed off. If you really, really, really love wrap ups, now is the time to tell me because otherwise this might just be my last one. Ultimately, they aren't very well viewed, and also they make me kind of less enthusiastic about doing regular reviews, which I've always liked doing. Maybe I should stop doing regular reviews because those aren't terribly well viewed either, but I like doing those. Who knows, but I apologize in advance for the weird angle and you always getting to look up my nose. I'm looking down upon you. Yes. Stop doing that now. Hey guys, this is the world's fastest reminder that you can support me on Patreon and see all kinds of exclusive videos like these ones. Now back to your regularly scheduled program. Alright, so let's go. Let's talk about what we read in July. I think I read 5 books in July. I don't think there were any DNFs, so that's good. The first one I read was I'm just going to read it off the screen. Stolen Innocence, my story of growing up in a polygamous sect, becoming a teenage bride, and breaking free of Warren Jeffs. That's a mouthful of a title. So I am fascinated by cults. I am fascinated by, so much of these cultures that I don't understand, and some of them are bad. This one is. I'm just going to read you the blurb because it's short. Best-selling memoir of Alyssa Wall, or Elisa, I can't remember, the courageous former member of Utah's infamous FLDS polygamous sect whose powerful courtroom testimony helped convict controversial sect leader Warren Jeffs in September 2007. At once shocking, heartbreaking, and inspiring, Wall's story of subjugation and survival exposes the darkness at the root of this rebel offshoot of the Mormon faith. So yeah, I'm fascinated by this. I gave it 5 stars. I love memoirs, and it had the added bonus of being a subject that I was really interested in, so together, yes. I don't know if you're allowed to love the story of someone who is a child bride and is maritally raped multiple times, and her life was not fun, but it is also really a story about strength, power of women, and overcoming, and so it's ultimately very inspiring, but there are a lot of terrible things that happen to this woman. So if you don't think you can handle all of that, if you don't think you can handle some serious shit, then don't read this. But if you think that you can, I really liked this. I love the way that it was told. Yes. Next, I listened to Call the Midwife, which is the first book in the Call the Midwife series, I believe. And it is what the show is based off of. You've probably heard of the show, but it's based off of some books. It is a woman working in the East End in the 1950s as a midwife. When midwifery was really becoming more of a thing, it was becoming a respected profession that you were trained to do and went to school to do, instead of just somebody in your village is a midwife because they've decided they are one. And it's just her experiences going around the very poor parts of London, and sometimes the wealthier parts, helping a variety of people in variety of situations. And it's really reminded me very strongly of the human version of All Creatures Great and Small, because the way it was told is almost exactly like All Creatures Great and Small. The style, everything is the same. So if you liked All Creatures Great and Small and you don't mind that this one is about people instead of animals, you'll probably like Call the Midwife. And I did too. I gave it 4 stars. I'll probably read more in the series because I'm fascinated by that history and also by medicine at that time, and I learned things about having babies that maybe I didn't want to know, but Like, I probably learned more than I need to know about some breech presentations, but that's okay. We're here to learn, and I really enjoyed my time with Call the Midwife. Next, I read Between Shades of Grey, which is a historical fiction that was recommended to me. It's about Lena, who's a Lithuanian girl in 1941. This author, I believe, also wrote Salt to the Sea, and she seems to write historical fiction about lesser-known things that happened in history. We have seen like a million stories of people being Jewish in World War II and stuff like that, but this author likes to write about the lesser-known experiences of people and cultures. And so this was the story of a girl who is taken to essentially a concentration camp kind of thing. Her and her family and many other Lithuanian people are wanted out by the growing I don't know if it's really the Nazi party at that point, but the growing regime wants them out for various reasons, and so they are sent away to these camps, and it's mostly just her experience of being shipped away. She's on a train for a lot of it, she's at a camp, and then she's shipped to a different camp where they frequently almost die. I gave it 3 stars. I think I didn't love Salt to the Sea either, and I think really it's just kind of this author and I don't gel. Like, her writing style is fine, but like nothing special to me, and while I appreciate what she's doing with these stories of these lesser known histories, her characters never really grab me, and that's a big problem. Like, if I'm going to enjoy historical fiction, especially because I'm not a big historical fiction person, I really have to love the characters, and her characters never really speak to me. She always feels a bit like she's keeping you at arm's length with her characters, like we should be feeling what these characters are feeling, and at least for me, I never quite am. So while I appreciate what she was doing, this one was kind of a middle of the road. It was just okay. Then I read The Forgetting, which is a dystopian that I, again, picked up randomly, because that's how I do. My TBR is whatever I click on at any given time. So The Forgetting is about a society of people who live in a walled city, and every, I think, 20 years, I'll just read it, no, 12 years. Every 12 years, something happens, and everybody forgets everything. Who they are, what's going on, all this, everything. And so they keep these books on them at all times to write down everything about their life so they can know who they are, know who their family is, all of that stuff. I gave it 2 stars because I didn't find it to be particularly good, I will say that it did strike me as fairly original. At least it was doing things that other dystopians were doing with, like, the forgetting thing, and it made me very curious, and, like, the ending was so balls to the wall that I was just along for the ride. I was just like, okay, here we go. We're going full throttle bonkers, and I don't care. I am fine with a book being bonkers if you can commit. Like, if you can commit to the bonkers, and if you can, like, just power through and get exciting, I don't care if you don't make sense anymore. And, like, this book got to that point where I was like, okay, I don't care that you make no sense. You are balls to the wall, full throttle insane, and I am on board. However, the beginning of this book and the majority of this book was kind of boring. This girl, like, the inciting incident, when did it happen? I don't know if I could even point to when the inciting incident happened. Like, this girl makes a decision that she's going to find out things, and she goes outside the wall and all this stuff, and, like, but it's so slow moving, and she's so, like, slow about it that you're just like, okay. And if I had had anything else to read, I might have put this down before I got to the balls to the wall crazy ending. But I didn't, so I finished it. 2 stars. And the last thing I read in July is Broken Things by Lauren Oliver. I haven't been giving you guys authors, but I'm sure that they'll be appearing on the screen. You'll be able to see who wrote these books. This was an interesting one. I only gave it 2 stars, and I think it's because it frustrated me. I have a really strong pet peeve, and this might not bother other people. Like, it might have been a higher star rating if it hadn't been for this. Other than the fact that, like, the characters, they were, like, 2 main characters that we followed most of the time, and their voices were really indistinct from each other, and I kept forgetting whose voice I was in. Anyway, what's this book about? This is about 2 girls who are accused of murdering their best friend at the behest of a fictional character. I think it is kind of brought about, like, the idea for this book came from the Slender Man attacks that happened in my home state, but it's very different. Like, the girls are into this really obscure book that's essentially The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but darker, and it doesn't even seem like it's a very good book in universe. Like, nobody likes this book, but the girls are young and they're obsessed with it. And there's a character in it called the Shadow who they believe needs a sacrifice or something like that, or some of them believe it. But anyway, they're accused of killing their friend in a ritual for this shadow, but they didn't do it, or at least they say they didn't do it. And so this book, you're solving the mystery with them of what actually happened and who actually killed their friend. And you're finding out things about their friend, you're finding out things about these girls, lots of things are coming to light. But this book has a lot of problems for me, and I think I might be planning to do a full review. I can't remember. Can't remember if I was writing this one down in my notebook. We'll see. If I don't, oh well. Voices were indistinct. And my biggest pet peeve of all, which I'll talk about here just in case I'm not doing a review, when characters know something, but they won't tell the reader. I'm fine with it if we are not in that character's head. But we are in these characters' heads. We are, I believe, in third person limited, so it's essentially the next best thing to being in first person. And the book obscures things that these characters know for the mystery for the reader. But I'm like, they know what happened, they were there, but they won't tell me, the reader, because otherwise there would be way less mystery and way less to find out throughout the story. And like toward the end, they finally tell you what they experience, what they know and what they don't know, what the gaps are. But like they don't tell you, and you are with them and you are in their head, and they should remember this, and they do remember this. There's no reason these memories weren't blocked out or anything. And I hate it. I'm so frustrated by that. And it was like 2 books in a row I read had that. And I hate it. Like, if we're going to be with that character and they know something, then they should tell the reader what it is. And if that ruins your mystery, then maybe it wasn't a very good mystery in the first place. Or don't have us be with that character who has that knowledge that we need to solve the mystery. Those are my 2 things. This might not bother anyone else in the world, but it bothers the crap out of me. So those were my books for July. I don't think I had any DNFs. I powered through even the things I wasn't enjoying this time, mostly because I was like waiting for things to come in. Like, there are books I'm excited about that I'm waiting for because I'm like 20 millionth in line for them at my library. So these are the things that I end up with in between. And yeah, I just powered through them because I needed something to listen to at work. Do you guys really like these wrap-ups, or do you not care? I feel like you don't care, because really, like, everybody does wrap-ups. You don't need my wrap-ups. My wrap-ups aren't special. So let me know if you prefer wrap-ups or regular reviews from me about books that I really care about reviewing. Let me know how much you hate this angle, because I hate this angle so much. I'm glad I'm not using my phone to film anything else, because what is this? But Jane is here, and he's been here the whole time. You never even knew. Also, he drooled. Drool on me now. Anyway, you guys, you know that my channel is chock full of content for you to go check out, including lots and lots of book reviews. If you liked what you saw here but you wish it was higher quality, you can support me on Patreon, where not only will your donations go towards getting me better equipment, but also you will get to see all kinds of weird and random videos that you don't get here on my regular channel. So if you can't get enough of me for some reason, become a patron at any level, as well as there are levels with all kinds of other rewards. If you want to support me but don't want to do that, I also have a Redbubble, so if you like my art, you can wear it on your body, or have it on a mug, or stickers. There's options. I post new videos Mondays and Fridays. All the links to my social media are in the doobly-doo. I just got an Instagram. I have no idea what I'm doing. But I will see you again next time with whatever it is I happen to be doing next time, hopefully, and not from this angle. Bye! Hey everyone, it's that time again. Time to shout out my patrons: Lennox, Amanda, Thelia, Jenny, Joseph, Kim, Lisa, Sabby Panda, Sam, Sarah, Savvy, and Scribbling Cat. Thank you all so much for being my patrons. You guys rock.